सञ्चार प्रजयो प्रदक्षिणभिः स्तोत्राणि सर्वगिरो यद्यत्कर्म करोमि तत्तदखिलम् शम्भो तवाराधनम् शम्भो ॐ करचरन् कृतं वा कायजं कर्मजं वा श्रवणनं जन्वा मानसं वा पराधं विहितम् अविहितं सर्वमेतत्क्षमस्व जय जय करुणाभि श्रीमहादेव शम्भो नमः शिवाय सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय
बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय
बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय
बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Bolo bolo सब मिल बोलो Om Namah Shivaya. झूठ जटा में गंगा धारी, झूठ जटा में गंगा धारी, जय गंगा धारी, जय गंगा धारी, त्रिशूलधारी डमरू बजावे, त्रिशूलधारी डमरू बजावे, डम 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 डमरू बजा, डम 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 डमरू बजा, बोलो डमरू बजा, बोलो डमरू बजा, गूंजता ओम नमः शिवाय, गूंजता ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, हरि ओम नमः शिवाय, हरि ओम नमः शिवाय, बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय, सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय। उमापति महादेव की जय। We focus our minds upon the divine Lord Krishna. I invite everyone to clasp our hands and close our eyes and bow our heads in humility.
Hari Nam, Hari Nam, Hari Nam Kevalam. Kalo Naseva, 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 Gatiran. Sri Krishna Govindaya Namo Namah. Bolo. Sri Krishna Prem Sri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Last week we discussed the lessons to be taken from the occasion of Mahashivratri. Briefly, we talked about it is an occasion for us to look upon our diet and manage our diet. What we eat, when we eat, how much we eat, and the reasons for our eating. In essence, we need to eat because our body needs the nutriments that comes from food. But we need to make sure that we are not eating to please our palates or eating out of gluttony, but eating because we need what is needed to nurture our body and to maintain a healthy and active body. We need to manage our desires. And desires are the things that we have in our minds that I want this, I must have this. These are necessary human tendencies. And it's not that we should not have ambitions, but our ambitions must not be built upon greed or false pride. They must be built upon the willingness to grow with the interests of all concerned, not selfish interests. One will say, Panditji, should I not look after myself? Of course you should look after yourself. It is your responsibility for your personal hygiene, your personal health, and your personal state of mind welfare. But all things that you do that brings benefit, it doesn't matter how selfish we are, whatever we do impacts someone else. And that is why we cannot be selfish. We have to be selfless. So in managing our desires, we must manage them in such a way that they have no negative impact upon anyone, and they must be selfless. That is, if I have a desire to build a mandir, it must be a selfless one. If I have a desire to do good for the seniors, it must be selfless. If I have a desire to help someone get a job, it must be selfless. But is it a desire yet? I have a desire to do. So it's not to have desires, but to manage our desires. One cannot live in the world without having desires. Then we must review our attitudes. How we interact with the world, in the way we speak, in the way we interpret others when they speak, in the way we judge, in the way we respond, in the way we respect, in the way we honor, in the way we forgive, in the way we are understanding, in the way we are compassionate. All of these are attitudes that we have. We must look at them and ask ourselves the question, am I being positive in all of my attitudes? Or are they negative? And if they are, what can I do to change them? Then in all of this, I must seek redemption for those attitudes that were not so positive. That I've looked at and says, oh, I should not have done that. I should not have said that. I should not have seen it from this perspective. I should have been more understanding. I should have been forgiving. I should have been compassionate. Oh God, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. And then I shall make positive changes in my life. After I've understand all of these things, manage my diet, manage my desire, review my attitudes, and seek redemption, then I'm ready to start new. Make positive changes in our lives. When we think of change, we think of changing our address. We change our phone number, we change our phone. We change our hairstyle, we change our makeup, we change our outfit. We change the shampoo we use, we change the perfume we use. These are changes, but these are not the changes I'm talking about. The changes I'm talking about are the mental and spiritual changes, whereby I make a commitment that God, I know you exist within me. I need to see more of you in my life. God, I know you exist within me. I need to see more of you in my life. And the mental changes, I should see the world positively now, more positive than I did before. I should see the good in everything. I should seek out to understand others than to be understood. I should seek to protect the unattended. That is, if you're standing there and someone is bad mouthing, as they say, or in any way being negative about another person that is not there, it is our duty to defend the unattended person, not to corroborate the story. As such, these are the positive changes that we can make in our lives. And these changes do not require any academic standing, any position or status or power, any physical strength, nor education. It requires basic, simple human goodness and kindness. So these are the messages we should take away, the lessons we should take away from the occasion of Shivratri. But today I want to talk about what I call the 3 F's of our lives. We must learn how to be flexible when we must. Blessed is ye who is flexible, for he shall never be bent out of shape. Let me repeat that. Blessed is ye who is flexible, for he shall never be bent out of shape. Many of us get bent out of shape because we're not flexible. That is, we get all upset and all turned about because we're not flexible. And as such, we are bent out of shape. But if we are flexible, then we are moving with the shapes. Whatever punches they are thrown, we are resilient, we take the punch and we come back. Or whatever that life offers us, we are able to stand tall, stand firm, because we are flexible. So remember that blessed is the person that is flexible, for they are never bent out of shape. Nothing throws them off their balance, because we are flexible. Learn to be firm when it's necessary. Now this is a very, very thin line to live between. To be flexible when you must, and to be firm when it's necessary. For parents, it is one of the greatest challenges, especially parents with teenagers. When should I say no and be firm? When should I say, okay, it's all right, but don't come at 12, come at 11? It is a challenge of parentage. And every parent must endure this. And then lastly, we must learn to be fearless at all times when we are being flexible and firm. Never be afraid of our decisions that we make. Make them with due consideration. Do not be afraid, because you're doing it with selfless attitude, positive intentions, so there should be no fear. So our takeaway today is, yes, we all said we are flexible, but are we flexible at the right time? We all said we like to be firm, but do we know when that is necessary? We are told we must manage our situation with a firm hand. Even the best of managers knows that there are times when we need a gentle touch, because a firm hand would not work. But also, that same manager should know, well, the gentle touch will not work here. A firm hand is required. And in all of decisions that we make, we must be fearless. We must never doubt ourselves once we've made a commitment. As long as we've done due diligence to analyze that action before we commit to that action, then go forward without fear. But if in the process you've discovered that you might be wrong, then do not be afraid to change also. Do not be afraid to stop and reassess and change. That's intelligence. That's common sense. That's being practical. So that is being flexible. So it goes together. Flexibility, to be firm, and to be fearless. Prem Su Sitapati Ramachandra Bhagavan Ki Jai. In understanding these three terms, when we look at our lives, all of us, whether we are parents, whether we are grown-ups, whether we are employees, employers, whether we are project engineers, whether we are employees on a project, whether we are doctors or lawyers or nurses, all of us have to follow these three, or come into a decision-making mode. It's all about decision. Should I be firm? Should I be flexible? Should I be fearless? Decisions, decisions, decisions. By the way, life is all about decision-making. From the time we wake up in the morning, as soon as we open our eye and become conscious, we make the first decision. What's that? Should I get out of bed or stay in bed? First decision. Some of us says, I should stay in bed, but then reality says, get out of bed. As such, then the decisions continue. Without thinking, we are constantly making a decision. What should I have for breakfast? Should I have breakfast? Should I not have breakfast? Or do I have enough time? And I'm constantly managing myself between the realities of life and the tendencies in my mind, and I have to make a decision constantly. When I stop making decisions, that's when I cease to exist. Prem Subrumapadi Mahadeva Ki Jai. When I stop making decisions, then that is when I cease to exist. The Lord explains to us in chapter 7 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita that virtue is a wonderful thing. Virtue. What does it mean to you when I say the word virtue? Kya matlab hai virtue? Let's talk to our young people, they understand this. Some of our old people who speak only Hindi may not understand what virtue from that perspective. What is it to mean to be virtuous? Any takers? What? Speak into them. To be noble. So, what does noble mean? To have good qualities. To act with strong character. Okay? These are all what I call motherhood statements. I want some specifics. Good qualities. What is good qualities? Opposite vices. Another motherhood statement. I tell my child, I want you to have good qualities. And she says, or he says, what's that? To be helpful, that's a quality. Right? What else? So virtue comes upon our mode of activity. Our virtuous life is built upon the way we interact. We are helpful. Noble is one virtue. I am noble, meaning I am divine. I do noble things. I do godly things. Okay? So virtue is all of the things that I do in my life add up to my virtue. A virtuous man, they say. What does that mean? He was kind. He was helpful. He was caring. He was compassionate. He was forgiving. He was understanding. These are his qualities that made him virtuous. So, Bhagavan Krishna is telling Arjuna that, oh Arjuna, in the world that I've created, there are 4 types of virtuous men, virtuous people. 4 types of virtuous people. That means people who looked virtuous. They are virtuous because they have lots of money. They have built a new factory. They have employed a lot of people. That's one type of virtue. Virtuous. They have made the greatest discovery to save humanity, but not with the intention to save humanity, but to make money. But that's another kind of virtue. Then another kind of virtue is that, oh, they seems to be able to overcome any challenge in life. They can call upon all powers at disposal and they will eradicate all challenges. Another form of virtue. And then there are those who live in the world seeking out God within everyone and seek every opportunity to represent that God and to present that God and to glorify that God. That's another kind of virtue. All virtues. And Bhagavan Krishna is telling us in this shloka, Sri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo. All together, please.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Namah.
Chaturvidha bhajante mam Janah sukriti no Arjuna Arto jignasu artharti Jnani cha bharatshava. Sri
Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Namah.
Of the four type of people that worship me, they worship me in the different states of mind. The first state, they worship me when they are in artha, when they are in distress. He says, at that time, they are the most pious person. Their distress have driven them to piety. In their appeal to God, they are genuine and down to earth. Oh God, I'm in the dung. I'm dung in my back. I need you. You're my only salvation. He says that at that time, they're very virtuous. They will give you the shirt off their back. Why? Because they want relief. He says that is one type of virtuous person. Then there is the jignasu, the one who wants to know everything, who wants to be the smartest person. They will cajole, connive, be aggressive, be abrasive, just to get there at the top. And to get the limelight and to say, I know. That's another kind of virtue. And then there is artharthi. Artha meaning wealth. The one who's always grabbing. More, never have enough. And he says, they pray to me to have more. They just want to have more. They just want to be the richest person in the world. They want to be the richest person in the block. They want to have the biggest house in the block, drive the best car. They just want that. Not because they want to do anything good for anybody else. They just want it for the virtue it brings. And then there is the Jnani, the wise. What is a wise person? What are the qualities of a wise person? This is a very wise man. बहुत ज्ञानी है. What is meant when I say a wise man? Have you met any wise person recently? In school, on the job, you met smart people, you met good-looking people, you met talented people. But have you met any wise people recently? What is meant by wise? Honest, okay? What else? Young people, huh?
They make good decisions always.
Speak into the microphone, please.
They make good decisions.
They make good decisions. Yes, what else? Yes, Andrew. Okay, give him a big hand. Let me rephrase that for you. People who use the little that they know in the best way, positively, that they know. People, it's not how much you know that is important. It is how well you use the little that you know in a positive way that is most important. So a wise person doesn't mean somebody who's got a couple PhDs or masters. That's not wisdom. That's not education. But if that person have all of that education, but all the decision making is selfish and always in a negative way, then they're not very wise. But if they have zero academic education, like many of our forefathers had, but everything they did was always in the interest of others and their family, and they did it in such a way, simplistic approach, that is wise. And more important, It is the wise man who sees God here, there, and everywhere. And it's only the wise man who can. वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहीं पीर पराई जान रे वैष्णव जन तो कर दुखे उपकार मन वैष्णव जन को तेरे कहिए जे. Literally translated, only a man of God can feel the pain of others. Only a man who is wise, or a woman, or a being that is wise to the where and withal of God that exists in everyone, only that person can feel the pain of others. And he says, Kar dukh upakar kare, man abhiman. He says, all the difficulties in world can be removed when there is no abhiman in the mind. Abhiman meaning false pride or ego. Thus, the question of virtue. Bhagavan Krishna is explaining, and he says, the first three, one, have great desires. One is in pain and then calls upon me. One wants to be the know-it-all and the smartest person. The other one just wants to have the world in their hands. And he says, ultimately, there is the fourth, who sees none of those things as really relevant in comparison to knowing God and knowing His value in our lives. And he says that person who knows God in that way is always caring, is always understanding, always forgiving. Caring, understanding, and forgiving. To care for people, to be understanding about their needs, and to be forgiving to those who trespass against us are the basic foundations of true divine wisdom. Om Sri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Namah Krishna Bhagavan Ki. And the wise man prays to God in this manner. He Deena Bandhu, He Karna Sindhu, Sab pe daya karna. prays to God in this way, O friend of those who are in distress, Hey Dina Bandhu. That's what it means. Oh God, you are the friend of those who are in distress. Hey Karuna Sindhu. O most compassionate Lord. Sab pe daya karuna. Have compassion upon us all. Jalao Gyan Jyoti Maname. Ignite the light of knowledge in my mind, O Lord. Prabhu, O God, aparad chama karana, and forgive me for my shortcomings, because we have them. He said the wise man always are asking God for forgiveness and saying, God, guide me and forgive me. Guide me and forgive me. As such, I want to clarify the prior three qualities where we talked about that the person prays to God when in distress, the person prays to God for knowledge, the person prays to God for wealth. Does it mean you should not pray to God when you're in distress? Does it mean you should not be praying to God for knowledge? Or it means you should not be praying to God for worldly wealth? No. We must be praying to God at all times. But it's our intention of what we are praying to God. If our praises to God is thank you, God, for the privilege that I exist. I'm sick, Bhagwan, but through your grace, I can still pray to you. Thank you, God. And I have confidence, O Lord, that you with me and I shall overcome this challenge. For education, thank you, God, for the enlightenment that I have, and thank you for that which you will grant upon me. And for the materialistic world, I will do my best, I will work hard, I will endure, O Lord, and whatever comes to me, I am thankful to you, O Lord. Yes, that kind of prayer for those things are important. Remember, sometimes the problem is not the problem is how we're looking at the problem. Someone said, Panditji, I'm praying, I'm in trouble with God. What do you think I'm praying? Yeah, you see it as you're praying, but I see it as you're complaining and you're just making a deal with God. Because you're not genuine. You want to be healed, and after that you don't care. So there is this, our intentions, that is important. Our message today is very, very simple. That we all qualify from some time or the other to be the Arto, the Jigyasu, Artarthi, and the Jnani. We must lean towards being the Jnani more often. The Jnani who says, God, you're my mother, you're my father, you're my brother, you're my friend, you're my everything. And Lord, if you're all of these to me, how come I don't know you? And seeking out the opportunity to know God better in all of these attributes. Prem Sri Krishna Chanda Bhagavan ki. Let me take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you here today. Who amongst us is here for the first time? Kaun pehle baar aaye hai? Who's here for the first time? Put your hands up, please. One? Nobody? No newcomers today? I have a few birthdays, don't I? I'm going to get into the slides. Let me see. I have to do this technology thing here. Which one? No? This one? Today's Preeti Bhojan is sponsored by the Mandir. We want to remind everyone that you do have an opportunity to sponsor Preeti Bhojan on Sundays and on Tuesdays. And for your birthday, for your anniversary, remembrance of your departed relatives, just feeling good, whatever the opportunity, please do take the opportunity to do this.